Welcome to the Lighthouse. Thank you guys for coming. Got a great class tonight. Big topics. All right, so I want to start by thanking everybody for coming. I want to explain to people that the key to our classes is why I've studied many rabbis. I've studied many classes, and what's really the difference between success and not success? It's really the difference is people are looking for just motivation. It's not enough. It's all about reprogramming. There's a reason why if a person, I've seen results in people that have listened constantly, and I've seen tremendous results where other people just listen to once in a while. The difference is you have to focus on reprogramming your mind because everybody knows what to do. It's just why can't we do it? We all know we need to pray. We all know we need to exercise. We all know what to do. Everybody knows what to do, but you have a little voice inside of you telling you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Why? Because of past experiences. So if we understand this, we realize it's not about motivation. Motivation is just like a little hurdle. You want to reprogram. The reason, the difference with me is when I made the big changes in my life was little by little changes every day, and the next thing you know, all of a sudden you have a breakout. So it all started by reprogramming. That's what you want to work on. Reprogramming. Don't just depend on motivation, because one day you're going to feel like it, another day you're not going to feel like it. It's really all our memories are in our subconscious mind, and what we want to do is we want to reprogram it. We can't live with Macintosh mentalities. You got it? Macintosh is out of business. We can't live with that kind of mentality. So when we know that every single day we get a new dot, we reprogram, we react differently, we speak differently. Next thing you know, your handshake will be differently. You won't even realize, oh my God, I'm shaking my hand differently. I'm shaking my hand with a lot more confidence than I did before. Before I was, shaking my hand like this, like the guy, now I shake my hand, I have confidence. That's what we do. When a person starts building trust, we're able. So guys, work on reprogramming. That means we have to have patience, but little by little, we're getting the right data to reprogram our minds, and next thing you know, you're going to be a different person. That's the only thing that succeeds. That's the reason why we have addiction. It can't be one-day addiction program. It's got to be a 60-day absorption where the guy's there and he has nothing to do but reprogram his mind. Because if it's just 10 days, 20 days, it's not enough. You can have the best speakers in the world. It's just not going to work. It only works the longer they wait, the longer you can reprogram. Even the best therapy now, even CBT therapy, is 6 months therapy. There's no such thing as. So you got to get that out of your mind of this quick 2-minute YouTube video mentality, which people have. This 2-minute YouTube video mentality that just goes in here, yeah, and goes right outside. That's the first thing I got to tell people. Get out of that mentality. People ask me to make the classes shorter. I said, absolutely not. This is not a popularity contest. This is to help people change their minds, because the reason why people are here in the situation is because of their mind frame. Nothing else. Because you know what to do. Everybody knows what to do. It's just why we're not doing it. Why is there an action taking? That's exactly why. So that's why, specifically, we have the right program, and I'm taking it from the best therapy books, and I know what works, which is a great angle that I'm able to see thousands of patients and see what's working for some, why are some getting breakouts, and why are some not getting breakouts. And there's common trends between certain people, and that's something that, thank God, I'm able to see. So again, we want to get into prevention, not desperation. We don't want to be desperate every time. Oh my God, what a day. No, we want to get into preventative mode. A lot of the things I speak about, listening to classes, is both to do with gratitude. A strong offensive attack. You shouldn't say, I'm desperate. How'd you get here? You shouldn't say you're desperate. I'm desperate today. What a day. No, you should be preventative. These days, next thing you know, when you start holding leads in your life, you end up winning. That's the difference between a guy winning, he's holding the lead. He's up, he's calm. Then a guy, next thing you know, he's desperate. I don't know what happened. Panic mode. That's what causes all the abnormalities, the panic mode, the obsessive compulsive disorders. All this is panic. So we're going to give you an unbelievable chidush today that it's going to give you a lot of clarity. Because the difference is when you have clarity, you have power. That's really the key. So again, we have to get out of this average mind frame. Some people are just too average. They're average mentality. Just the average mind frame, that's the biggest plague. In Judaism, either you're not rising, you're falling. At least want to rise. Forget if the results are there. But if a person doesn't have aspiration to grow, doesn't mean he has to wear black. It means we have to do, all the work has to be inner, not outer. Everybody wants to do the outer work with the new costume, new hat. Oh, I'm going to become more religious. I'm going to wear hat. But they don't want to do anything on the inner. All the work has to be inner. Once the inner is perfected, then you can think about changing garments if you want to put on a different suit. That's what Rav Nachman's message. Work on the inner. Forget the outer. The inner is where the work has to be done. That means, unfortunately, some people are not drawn to certain parts of Judaism because they see people depressed and they see people are very rabbi. How could this guy be depressed? He's a rabbi. Doesn't make sense to them. So they say, well, what do I want to be like this for? I might as well go back into my world. And that's why we want to show that this is not the way we should be. The higher, more religious you should be, the more you should be, the happier, and the more in control of things you should be. Right? That should be the case. So we want to start with a great offensive. So we need discipline, and that's the key. So I got this chidush, and when I get the chidushim in his bodedut, those are the ones that are really the gold mines. And I said, what is life about? Again, we study people's behaviors, and I said it's very simple. Life is one big line. Everything you want in life, you have to wait online. If you understand that there's no other option in the world. But you know what? If I want to get married, I have to wait online. Because there's a certain amount of rectifications that has to be made by waiting online. Well, the problem today is nobody wants to wait online. Nobody wants to wait online. Why should I wait online? Look at that line. That line's much quicker. So what happens? They go on that line, and next thing you know, they have to go back on their line and start all over. All the stress in life is realizing that part of my tikkun, Rav Nachman's going to say here, part of your tikkun is actually waiting. Believe it or not. You want to get to the top line in Kabbalah is Keter. Keter means the crown. You want to get to the crown, you want a crown on your head? You gotta do what? You gotta wait, you gotta Qatar. You gotta wait. Why do I have to wait? It's because in order for a person to do tshuva, waiting itself is a tikkun. Waiting itself, a person waiting itself is a tikkun. But the stress today, why is there so much anxiety? Because you're here and you want to be there. You get me? You're here and you want to be there. If you understand that, and that's what the whole Torah is telling you. The beginning of a person that wants to do tshuva, you know what he has to do? He has to wait. What happens when you have kids? I see kids, 18, 19-year-olds, rich fathers, rich families, they're in drug rehab. They had everything in the world. How come the kid's in drug rehab? He's got everything in the world, loving father. You know why? Because he got things without waiting in his life. So now he has to be in the real world. And guess what? Now he has to wait. And you know what happens? Oh, I don't want to wait. I can't take it. There goes the drug addiction, there goes etc. So, one advice for my kids that I would say for parenting is the number one advice. Whenever your kids are doing something, don't tell them, oh, you succeeded because you were smart. Don't tell him that, because what happens tomorrow? He's going to get a harder test. He's not going to get it. What are you going to tell him? Now you're stupid. You got to tell him the reason why you got this is because you worked hard. That's why you did it. Don't think you're smart. That means the reason why you got rewarded in something in life is because you put in effort. That means if something doesn't go his way, what should he say? I didn't work hard enough. What do I have to do? Work harder. But once you tell the kid, I'm smart, you're not smart, you're stupid, you're this, that's where all the subconscious memories, my father called me this, I'm not smart enough, I didn't make it. But if you just tell them it's all about a matter of effort, about a matter of waiting, then there should be absolutely no problems. So our problems, now we understand that Rav Nachman is telling us here, in order to get to anywhere, he's saying here, the Talmud teaches that if a person wants to purify himself, and again, we're all coming to purify ourselves. Let's be frankly. And I realized when I waited 6 months, when I first started doing his bodedut, it took me 6 months to see anything move. Not 40-day challenge. 6 months I didn't see nothing move. But Rav Nachman says it's the highest thing of all. I said, I have to go all in. But it took me 6 months. Every day, consistently. I didn't care what I felt like. I was there, talking his bodedut constantly, until one day the big fish flipped over. And that was the aha moment that got me my momentum. But it took me 6 months. 6 months. That means part of my test was waiting the 6 months. So you have to understand something. If you understand, all I have to do is wait online. It has nothing to do, the line's going to eventually come, right? Make sure you're on the wrong line, on the right line. But when every time you're trying to skip lines, that's where all the problems start. I'm trying to go on this line, I'm trying to go on this line, and next thing you know, go back and forth. You're making yourself crazy. I tell people, you're making yourself crazy. Why don't you just stay in line? Because Keter You want to get God's honor, you're going to have to wait. Because that is the rectification, because you can't have a baby in 6 months. You got to wait the 9 months. You can't have a baby. You want to have a baby earlier, you're going to have a spiritual abortion. That's what's happening. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it. That's exactly what's happening. So if we understand this, that we have to wait in line, and cutting the line, God's the one showing you who's cutting the line. Oh, you think you're cutting the line? Get back on line again. That's all you're doing. Just stay in line, stay focused, stay consistency, and get rid of your feelings. That's one of the greatest advices I can tell you about this concept about waiting in line. Because this is it. This is the key to getting the crown, because the crown means keter. The keter means a crown, right? Keter means patience, but karet, the same word, karet means cut off. What does cut off mean? Either you're getting the crown or you're getting cut off. One of the two. Depending on what your level of humility, because humility means for a person to be humble, he needs patience. Patience is emunah. Patience is the emunah. Any other system, guys, it doesn't work. You show me a system that works, doesn't work. There's no other thing. Now, if the whole purpose of waiting is to get you back online, so how do I get quicker in the line? Only through prayer and teshuvah. That's the only way. Anxiety, depression, all this other garbage that everybody's obsessed with is what's stopping you. It's what's stopping you from succeeding. Because now you're worried about, oh my God, I have anxiety. Not only do I have to wait on the line, but I also have anxiety. So now it's so much harder. Life becomes so much harder if you're just patient. That's what Nachman's message. Every single day is a brand new day. Tomorrow I can get, and that's the line. And that's what he says here. That's the root of all mental illnesses. Obsessive compulsive disorder. All you have to do is just wait. Obsessive compulsive, obsessive eating, lack of telling the mind, wait. You got to become an expert in delayed gratification. They did a study, it's called the marshmallow experience, I've said this before, where they gave one kid one marshmallow, and they gave another kid 2 marshmallows, and they said, listen, you can have 1 marshmallow right now, or you can wait 20 minutes and have 2 marshmallows. They tracked these 2 students down, right? And they said, who would be more successful in life? For 20 minutes. Delayed gratification. Who would be more successful in life? Guess what happens? The kids that waited 20 minutes extra as a kid, that means you could teach your kids, you know what? You can't have this right now. If you wait a little bit, you could have it a little later, but you can have 2. Those kids succeeded, look it up, the marshmallow experience, those kids succeeded the first kids in everything. The first kids were more likely to be in addiction because it's all about impulse. That's not what the Torah's message is. It's not what the Torah's message. Every single company has to go through this because this is part of the teshuvah. Part of the teshuvah is waiting. That's what I never understood that. Part of the teshuvah is actually just sitting and doing nothing. And just waiting patiently and not getting offline. Reb Nachman's we're going to talk about here a little bit. That what is he telling us? Don't move. Pretend you're like a Black Friday buyer. You know, you're ready to buy that 50-inch screen TV to sit in the rest of your life. All you got to do is sit there, and everybody's telling you, no, they're not going to open. They're not going to open on Black Friday. That's what people tell them. Maybe it's not going to open on Black Friday. I'm leaving. And they're going to tell you crazy. It's coming right now. That's what you have to. Every day should be your Lahavdil, your Black Friday, where you should look for the opportunity to just wait in line. And that's how I've gotten everything in my life. Has only been this way. I knew I had to wait in line. Arrogance tells you I don't have to wait in line. Arrogance tells you I don't have to do that. I can get things right now. That's gava. Gava means I'm going to skip the line, and I'm not. Hashem's telling me to wait. I'm not skipping the line. I'm skipping the line no matter what. So this is really a character problem. It's a character problem that leads to anger. Anger leads to what? Loss of intellect, loss of money, loss of everything, loss of health. Reb Nachman says, the Gemara says, that a person who loses anger, he loses his soul. Again, this is not an easy class. But if you understand the system, it's very simple. Why are people not praying? I ask, why are you not praying? I just ask, why? You prayed yesterday, you woke up, you said you did his to do, you prayed, you did this, you had a great day. Why are you not praying tomorrow? Because I thought more things were going to come that day. Right? What happens? Like I said, scoreboard watchers. You do something, you expect the same results that same day. That's a problem. Yes, the results can come in 2-3 days after. But what happens is we lose our minds are exhausting us because we say, oh my God, I tried prayer, it didn't work. So now you have a battle in your mind telling you it's not working because you put that battle in there. Either you're going to have, I tell people, very simple, 2 colors that you get. Either you get results or reasons. Here's the results. I did what you told me. Great. Or you have a reason. Why didn't you do it? Because of this reason. Very simple. Okay, so is this a result or reason conversation? Because if you just stick with the plan, you're going to get answered every single time. Even guys, I'm working on single guys, they can't hold it. Next thing you know, they get depressed. Remember, all the problems happen in depression. They don't happen when people are happy. So if people just stayed watched their own lane, stayed in their own line, and they would have gotten everything. And that's really the key. The key is to have patience. And if we really think about it, guys, any kind of even blaming people. Why did he throw me in the line? I was in line, and this guy threw me in the back of the line. Anything else but staying in line and waiting is just a waste of time. So now we know that's part of my teshuvah process. Now I embrace it, I accept it, I'm happy with it, and I show up with new energy. Because I know there's no other way. You know, the kid tells you, what are we going to do? What do you tell your kids? There's nothing we could do. We just have to wait in line. How many times you talk to the kid? You have to also wait into your spiritual life. Same concept. So that's really the anxiety, that's really the stress, that's really everything else, because either you're going to get the crown, you're going to get the keter, or you're going to get karet. You're going to get cut. It's not the same letters. You're in charge through patience, through humility, to make sure that you get the crown and that you don't get thrown offline. So think about it. That's the number one thing you have to think about. Okay, and this is also he's saying here, all the compulsive eatings, all the racing of the minds, all of it is just from lack of patience. When the mind becomes the highest mind is the cranium, becomes karet, becomes cut. So the same keter, the lack of patience becomes that. If you interview any top athlete, they will all tell you the exact same thing. How did you get here? How did you get here? Patience, patience, patience. And what is patience? Emunah. Emunah gives you patience. Lack of emunah, you start coming with the story. I tried, it didn't work. I said, what? You didn't even try. You tried it for 2 days. What do you want? 6 months. So we have to start building a little bit of resiliency for these kind of things. Okay? Now we're going to talk about something else that Rav Nachman says. So that's why he's saying here, why is this so difficult? Listen to what he's saying here. Beautiful, beautiful lesson. 2:19, and I'm going to go to the main lesson. He's saying here something very beautiful. He's saying that whenever a person approaches God, depending on how you approach God, God approaches you. That's something that we can. If a guy is going to sit there and complain and have this chutzpaniak attitude, what's going on with my business, what's going on with this, what's going on with that, then God, it's just like a kid, lahavdil. A kid talks to you, hey, what's going on with this? You don't respond to him nicely. He's going to talk to you like a big shot. He wants to be a beast. You're going to have to talk to him just like that. It's the same way God speaks to a person. Depending on how he approaches him, Rav Nachman says in lesson 2:19, he's saying here, when a person humbles himself before God, then in turn God lowers himself to this person and listens to him patiently and humbles himself because he's in that mode. He's in a patient mode. He's in a humble, patient mode. He gives them ideas on how to succeed. Now, if the guy wants to be a chutzpaniak, and the guy wants to have a big ego, and say, I don't understand what's going on here, business sucks, my marriage is in the garbage, blah, 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 then God has to sit there and judge him differently. So it's not like everybody's getting the same judgment. We all get different treatment, depending on how you radiate. So this is very important, because if you're not in control of your emotion, you're going to say, I hate you, God. Or you're going to start screaming crazy things. I hate people. I hate this one. I hate that one. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with all this stuff? You just have a lack of doubt. All suffering in life is a lack of knowledge. So we try to explain to people. You got to know the system. You know the system, you'll be calm. Calm confidence. Today, thank you, God. Thank you for everything. Wait in line. Pray. and eventually it's going to be your place, and you're going to get every single thing you want. God wants to give it to you more than you want it. But part of your tikkun from a past life could be waiting. And that's the problem. And there's nothing you can do about it. If I understand this, give back your pills to everybody. Give back all the pills, all the anti-anxieties, all this garbage, Prozac, all these pills, and just say, I've had enough of the pills. I'm just going to wait in line. That's going to be the best advice I can give you. But I need them. No, you just need to wait in line. Because if you just waited in line, you understood the system, there's no anxiety. This anxiety craziness, it's just people are making this anxiety. It's happening by themselves. God didn't create you with anxiety. We create anxiety. We create these systems by worrying out of control. Anxiety is a person worrying out of control, where your body can only handle a certain amount of worry. When your body handles this is so much worry, your body just says, I had enough. And your body just goes crazy. Body goes crazy. It's too much for the body to handle so much stress, and your body just shuts down, or has panic attacks. That's what happens. But if you didn't stress out because you had to wait in line, then there would be no problem. It sounds so simple, but if you understand this concept, you're very patient. Don't bother me, I'm waiting in line. And what are your negative thoughts going to tell you? Oh, you're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. You're going to be there forever. You're in the wrong line. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe this guy's in a better line. Look at that guy. Look, he's going in the fast lane. I'm here in this lane. This is all the stress about not being in your place. Not holding on and being somewhere else but the main place. And I figured this. Everybody who I've seen successful, everybody who I've seen, I've been around, I know tons of people in business. How did you succeed? Building up the business. Patience. Everybody's got the same exact answer. Show me one guy that doesn't have that answer, that succeeded. Amazon, 7 years, they didn't make $1. Now they're taking over the world. Right? Everybody. Jack Ma, he said he got turned down 10 times in Harvard. And you know what he told him? I'm going to end up teaching here. Patience. Jack Ma, they told him, you're not good for Harvard. He says, one day I'm going to teach here. You're going to get judged on one thing in Shemai Rav Natan says is your desire. What did you want? What did you go for? What were your goals? What did you go for? What did you shoot for? The whole thing is desire. Desire is keter. It's the same word as patience, it's the same word as that light. That means when you have a desire, you have to understand, I'm going to get there, otherwise I don't want to become premature. And he says, why does God make you wait? He says he makes you wait because if you don't wait, you're going to have klipot, which are negative things from your past, affect you. So maybe, you want to get into this marriage, you're not really ready for the marriage. We know 50% of marriages are ending up in divorce. Some people say, you know what, I wasn't ready. I'm living alone, I'm relaxing, I do things on my own. Next thing you know, I got to divide everything by 2. It takes a lot of patience to be married. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of shutting your mouth. It takes a lot of character change to be married. So sometimes God's not making you get married for a reason until you work on your character, because he doesn't want you to get divorced. So it's really chesed. It's really a gift. But when you're trying to push it, okay, you got married, okay, you got divorced. Why'd you do this to me, God? I told you to wait. Told you to wait. How do we wait? We wait through prayer. So you're going to hear this lesson so again, in lesson 219, the greater the humility a person has, the more he makes himself into nothingness, right? By being patient. What happens? The more God's nothingness is revealed to him. Conversely, the greater a person's haughtiness and self-importance, his claim to God has to speak to him the exact same way. Exact same way. You speak, he speaks to you. So that's why some people are getting a lot better results, because they go in there with an approach like compassion, gratitude. Other people go in there with what's going on here? Numbers are not matching. And then you start arousing din. Din doesn't come when you're humble. Remember, judgment does not come when you're humble. Judgment comes when you're not humble. Judgment comes when you come with claims. And when you compare, and you pray with comparison. Shem, how come this guy's doing it? He doesn't keep Shabbat. I keep Shabbat. But you're looking at everybody all the time. How come you start judging people? That when you judge people, all of a sudden, open up my books. That's why you don't want to judge. You want to work, all the work has to be inside. And people should ask you, tell me about this person. What do you think about him? You have to say, it's a full-time job working on myself. I don't have time to judge people. It's full-time. I'm booked forever. Full-time. I'm booked forever working on myself. Because guess what, guys? It's a full-time job working on yourself. I promise you. I work on myself. I say I don't have time to talk about other people. I'm booked. I'm booked forever. I tell people, don't talk to me about him. I'm booked. I have a contract for life. This guy, God bless him. I don't care what he does. I don't care who's there. If he wants help, we'll help him. But I'm not here to judge. That's where we get you. We judge so much. We judge. That's why I'm doing the singles website. It's because I realize the single scene, there's a lot of judging. By the shadchanit are judging, who's this guy's family, that guy's family is not good, blah, blah, blah. So much judgment. I mean, that's why some of these shadchanit destroyed the market. And they gave people, they embarrass people, and they give people no hope, and it's not nice. So that's why really, I'm really doing this, because I want to show that this Macintosh mind frame is not the right mind frame. That's why we're doing it. Fresh energy. Everything needs fresh energy. So thank God we're going to be successful. So lesson 48, this is called the Rebbe's letter. It's a beautiful, beautiful letter. Very, very encouraging letter. And it says, when a person begins serving God, the way they show him is rejection. Doesn't make any sense. The minute you start serving God, no matter who you are, the beginning of you're going to start, maybe you're going to get a 3-day trial, but then after that, you're going to get a little resistance. And that's where most people get turned off here. That's why Rav Nachman he was really, really a psychologist. Because he's telling you, listen, this is what you're going to go through. This is what you should expect. He gives you meaning. He gives you consolation not to sit there and give up. Because why are most people not doing tshuva? Why are most people not getting close to God? It's because they're embarrassed. They have the shame of what they've done. God knows how many things I've done when I first came into tshuva. We've all done stuff. And Rav Nachman knew it. So we've all come down with shame. So what happens? People they have so much shame that they're afraid to approach God. It's like almost like a mother and a baby. The baby says, listen, I made in my diapers. What does the mother say? No problem. We'll clean you up. That's the exact same attitude you should have. The baby doesn't say, I don't want to tell my mother I made in my diapers. I made in my diapers. I need a cleansing. You need to act like a baby sometimes. Simple. I made a sin. I made in my diapers. Tomorrow, I'll get up again, and you'll clean me just like you've always done. That's the relationship God does. That's the only relationship. Simplicity. You know how Rav Nachman got great? Simplicity. But what happens? You don't want to do it because you think that Hashem's going to sit there and see all the diapers and He's going to reject you. Who says He's going to reject you? That's your story. That's the story people create, and that's why they leave. Because they think that God's going to reject them because of all the sins. How could He reject me? How could He save me? Look at all the girls I went with. So you have a lot of dirty diapers. We need to clean them regardless. It's very simple. That means there should be no despair. A person saying tomorrow, Hashem, I want to keep Shabbat, but you don't keep kosher. So what? Let me start keeping Shabbat. What does that have to do with the other? Who says one has to do with it? Why is it all or nothing? People say I can't. It's all or nothing for me. So what do you end up? You end up with nothing. That's why sometimes you have unrealistic expectations. And you have this story that's telling you when you go up to 120 years, you're going to have a story. And that's not the rules. Who told you those rules? That's why breastplate is needed in this generation. Because Rav Nachman is telling you, by the way, yes, you got dirty diapers. And Hashem knows you have dirty diapers. But come to me. We'll clean them out. We'll clean them out little by little. It's going to require time. But God forbid a person rejecting. God forbid a person, all of a sudden says, I want to intermarry. People say, I want to intermarry people. How could you get to that story? Why would you think that? Because they think God is rejecting them. Because they created that image. It's only because of that. If they knew that God's compassion, He's slow to anger. You just have to make a move. You have to be serious, you have to be committed. And that's all you have to do. Just like a baby that has dirty diapers, coming to his father or coming to his mother, she's always going to clean them, no matter how much you did. There's no such thing as despair in the world. No such thing. No quitting. No such thing as quitting. Rav Nachman used to get up 7-8 times a day and get up. That's what his thing. He used to get up 7. Rav Nachman. There was a point that in the point of the Baal Shem Tov's life that you know what happened to him? He forgot everything. He had to start with Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet. The head of Chassidut. Without Baal Shem Tov, we have nothing. So if our mentality is telling us, I'm not good enough, I've sinned too much, God doesn't want me. It's wrong. It's wrong. How can I start praying now and look at all the sins I have? It's all wrong. It's not the right approach. We got to change our thinking. So that's why Reb Nachman really, he's the psychologist. He's telling you, it's okay, come back, it's okay, we're welcoming you. So look what he's saying here. When a person begins serving God, the way they show him is rejection. First, there has to be a little resistance. See if you're serious. No, you got to be serious also. You can't just be, Mickey Mouse tshuva. You got to be serious. A person should take things, you know what? Let me start with kosher. Then I'll start with Shabbat. Or let me start with this. Let me start with not dating out of marriage. Everybody has their own level to start. There's no such thing as, oh, he's better than me. That's why if you're in your lane, you have there's nothing. I'm in my lane. The whole world was created for me. Gemara says the person should say the whole world is created for me. Not him, not that guy. Everybody has a different childhood that they grew up with. You can't judge absolutely anybody on how they did. But the main thing is, get out of this average mind frame and start coming at least go north. He's saying here, it seems to the people, it seems when a person starts going to the service of God, it seems to him like he's being rebuffed on high and they're preventing him from getting closer. Because the Yetzer Hara sees, listen, where are you going? You're a Triple American Express member. Where are you going? What tshuva are you doing now? What are you listening to? That's why it's so unbelievable. I see a phenomenon in people. They start listening to class. Oh, greatest class. Next thing you know, they drop the class. So what happened to you? How could you be so on and so off? Because that day, their emotions took them. The first thing they do, I tried Hashem. Dropping the class. Oh, good for you. Yay. That's not what you're supposed to do. It's part of the process. Part of the process. And so it seems to be a person needs to be very, very encouragement to keep from dejection, God forbid. When he sees that many days are passing away and he's trying to exert himself for God, and he seems that he's not even moved. It doesn't seem like he's even moved. I know people that quit on the 1 yard line. They're ready to go. They have the ball in their hand. It's 4th and 1. They're ready to go on the golf hole. I can't take it anymore. I'm quitting. You're on the 1 yard line. You're on the 1 yard line. All you had to do is wake up one more day. You're on the 1 yard line. Because right before you're going to succeed, you're going to get blitzed. That's when the blitz comes. When a person's about to succeed. So he says here, and whatever holy matter he wants to accomplish in the service of God, they reject him. He's tried, he doesn't feel anything. He doesn't feel anything. And he's screaming and he's begging God, and it seems like God's ignoring him at all. It's not true. This is what it seems. That's why if we're not in control of our emotions, we think that we're getting rejected. We think that we start focusing on all the shame, and then we start saying God doesn't want me. You understand? That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't think like that. And the rule he says is be very, very strong to serve God, and don't lose your grip. That means if you started doing His Bode do 10 minutes, don't lose your grip. No matter what happens. Your job is just to be consistent and determined and focused, and don't move from there. Don't move from the line, because you're getting on line to the goal. But what happens? You get offline. I don't feel it. Okay, it's not for me. And then I have to talk to you, and then you got to go back online again. You understand? This is what's the exhausting part about it. So what is he saying here? Something very beautiful. Rav Nachman teaches that provided that one's measures of perseverance and effort is great enough, there isn't a spiritual level that you won't be able to achieve. Now, why are you telling me? You're going to tell me, what do I need all this spirituality for? What do I need it for? It's because if you don't have spirituality, you're going to have a pocket of anxiety, depression, no meaning in your life, and your mind's going to go crazy. That's why you need it. People tell me, maybe it's not for me. If you don't have this, you're going to be social comparison, you're going to have anxiety, you're going to be depressed, your mind's going to take you to places that you've never seen before. So you need this. Because if you don't have meaning and a way to cope with this, then your mind's just going to take you wherever your emotions will drag you. So it's not really an option. People understand. Well, I don't really want to do it. It's not for me. Let me try another. No. If a person doesn't connect to, has no meaning in his life. If a person has no meaning, no purpose, then you're just one day away from an addiction. You're just one day away from a mistake. You're just one day away from a problem. Because you don't have meaning. So look what he's telling you here. It's unbelievable, unbelievable line what he's telling us here. He's saying here, why is this happening to a person? Why is he going through this level? He's saying here, he says, God knows, he says, listen, listen to this line, although I know your desire is to serve me, but what do I know? How am I guaranteed that you're not going to leave me tomorrow? That's what he's telling you. That's what Hashem's telling you. You want to come closer? I'll bring you closer. But what guarantee do I have that you're going to be loyal? You know, you can love somebody and still cheat on them. How do I know? How do I know? How do I know you're not going to quit when your business goes down 10%? How do I know? You understand this line? This line should give you so much clarity. So the beginning is very difficult because he says, look, if you're willing to hang on when things are not so great, then that means you're serious. That means you're all in. That doesn't mean you're up and down. You know, the Wall Street, the Dow goes up. You're on. The Dow goes down. You're not on. You're not a S&P 500 Jew. But the first part is going to be, how do I know? God wants to know. How do I know you will not leave me? What guarantee? You've left them before. Something happened. How do I know? What do we value the number one thing in business? What do you look for an employee? I have tons of businesses. Loyalty. I don't want the smartest guy. The smartest guy will take your business from you. I want loyalty. Number one thing I look for is loyalty. Can I trust this guy? And you know what happens sometimes for loyalty? You know what you need to do? Sometimes I've tested employees. I've sent them different customers. What are they going to do? Before you give him a raise, before you take him to another level, let's see if he's loyal or not. Am I punishing him? I'm not punishing the guy. I need to make sure this guy's not going to go for the small bait. Number one, you guys are more loyal to Starbucks than to God, some people. No, I don't drink that coffee. I'm loyal to Starbucks. Everything is based on loyalty. Loyalty is an expression of emunah. I have emunah, but I'm not loyal. It's a different story. The key is loyalty. If you understand loyalty is all God wants from you. He doesn't want you to go to another God. Emunah means, I'm all in. So the first step is, how will I know that you're not going to leave me tomorrow? I know you want to come closer to me, but how can I reveal you my presence if you're going to dump me tomorrow for an iPhone? Or if you're going to dump me tomorrow for some Buddha or some, who the hell knows what you're going to dump me tomorrow for. But how do I know? And it's true. It's true. It's true. How, I tell an employee, how am I guaranteed that you'll stay with the company? How do I know? Give me your passport. You tell the housekeepers, give me your passport. Right? How do I know you're not going to be loyal? And this is really the key to everything. The key is loyalty. You have to ask yourself, God will, the same thing as an employer, same thing as anything. Loyalty. How will I know you're going to stay with me? So you don't just give the guy, you don't open up the store, you don't open up the business for the guy, and you don't show him all the secrets. You let him prove to you that he's loyal. And if he's not loyal, I can't help you. This is nice, you're a nice guy, you're a great guy, but you're not loyal. That's what they're looking for, not intelligence. So you look for loyalty. And this is the number one thing we have to look at. How have I been loyal to God? Have I really been loyal? Am I loyal when things are not good? When business doesn't look good? When I haven't been married? Am I loyal? What am I doing in those days? That's where you're going to get tested. On those days. Because how do you prove loyalty? It's easy when business is great. I've seen my employees. You know where I know how they were loyal? When things weren't so rosy. Did they come extra to work? Did they stay overtime when I needed them? That's how I know them. I don't care how much money. I care how loyal they are, and you build businesses around loyal people because they are the foundation. Without the foundation of loyalty, again, even in a marriage, you're looking for loyal. The woman wants loyalty. She doesn't have loyalty. You could be the greatest guy in the world. You can give her the best cars. Kaddish. It's all gone. Without loyalty, you can't have a marriage. Correct? Can you have a marriage without loyalty? You can't. For a while, but without loyalty, it's not going to last. It's the same thing with Hashem. He wants loyalty, and that's what he's telling you here. All you have to do is stay in line, be loyal. I will open up the doors from you. You know, the key to get prophecy, I told people, all you have to do, all the answers that you have are inside of you. Every single answer that you have in your life, it's inside of you. All you have to do is one thing. You have a clogged heart from a story that's causing negative thoughts clog your heart. Different perceptions of God. God's not good. He's too hard. Religious people this. All these stories clog our hearts. When our hearts become clogged, what happens? They become heavy. When they become heavy, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like praying. I don't have time. Because if you knew what you needed to do, but your heart becomes clogged by negativity. So the first thing we have to do is get rid of the clogged heart. You have to empty the heart from the negativity. Because negative thoughts, they clog your heart. And your heart is referred to as creation. That's where all things happen. That's the seat of the emotions. So you can't succeed with a clogged heart. Because the clogged heart will lead to your hands being big. You'll have no energy. So when people serve God with no heart, with no kavanah, God says, this is not, I don't want people to milli lip service. You know? When you go to a concert, you see the guy doing lip service. What is this? I didn't pay for this. That's exactly what happens. When you have no heart, what do? Lip service. Curse. It says, curse will be those who serve me with their lips and not with their hearts. So now you know what to do. First thing, what do you need to do? You need to wait in line. Now you have to understand, I can't skip lines because part of the teshuvah is waiting in line. And there's nothing I can do about it. In business, shidduchim, and that is my ultimate cleanser. That waiting period is cleansing. It's like you're doing teshuvah by just waiting in line. Second thing you need to do, you need to get rid of your circumstance. You need to get rid of the things that are clogging your heart. Because if your heart's not in it, you're not going to be loyal. And third thing is, you can't move from your place. And the fourth thing is loyalty. Now you understand, am I loyal to right now? Am I loyal? Am I being loyal to God right now because I had a rough day? Am I loyal? So you have to ask yourself, how do I guarantee God that I will not leave him tomorrow? Can you ask yourself that question? Can you ask yourself that question? What guarantee do you have that you'll not leave him tomorrow? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Yeah, it's a good question. Never thought about that. Never thought about that question. The biggest question, when you ask an employee, how do I know you will stay with the company? God's asking you the same question. That's why loyalty is valued so much in this country. And without loyalty, we have nothing. All right? That's this. Thank you.